I'm coming up on 5 years of switching all my products to non-toxic, ditching all the toxins in our home. I can't believe it's been 5 years since I started doing this, and I figured I would come on here and tell you guys kind of why I came to that decision and how I did it, what that even really means. Because if you would have asked me what non-toxic or ditching toxins in my life was 5 years ago, I would have been like, what are you talking about? So 5 years ago in 2019, right around this time, I watched this documentary called Stink. It's free on YouTube right now. It's all about like synthetic fragrance and just the weird ingredients in our products and how they can negatively affect our bodies. And it really opened my eyes. I didn't even realize that an ingredient in my skincare product or the materials I was using when I was cooking, they could negatively impact my health, specifically my hormones. Really just kind of piqued my interest, and I was like, if something in my skincare products is messing with my hormones or could be a possible carcinogen, why are we using it? Why are we all just okay with that? Why are we accepting that? So my New Year's resolution for 2020 was to get rid of all the synthetic fragrance in my home, in my products, and I started just very small. I started just with synthetic fragrance, so I would go around and see any products that had fragrance on the ingredient label. I feel like that made it really easy and more attainable to just be looking at one ingredient, because when you look at your skincare product, there are hundreds, sometimes even more than that. And that's just too overwhelming to start with all of those. So I just looked for the word fragrance. I also am somebody that's not just going to jump on any bandwagon. So I actually looked for science to make sure that this was actually something that could be affecting me, because documentaries in particular can be pretty one-sided and biased. Then I started looking up actual studies, specifically in that word fragrance, and I realized, okay, we need to get rid of the synthetic fragrance in and around my body. My home was filled with Bath & Body Works candles and the wall plugins and the room sprays. So I started small and I started there, and I got rid of all of my synthetic fragrance candles, but I still wanted my home to smell good. So then I discovered essential oils as a good swap, and I joined an MLM for just over 2 years, and I'm no longer with them. That's a story for another day. If you want the story of my experience in network marketing MLM, let me know. But the positive of me joining that MLM was that essential oils really helped me ditch all the fragrance in my home, and pretty much immediately the daily headaches I used to get and just like that brain fog went away once I got rid of the synthetic fragrance in my candles and wall plugins. So I was like, there's something to this. There's actually something to this. Right then and there, I decided my New Year's resolution for 2020 was to get rid of all the synthetic fragrance in my products and really be more conscious about only buying non-toxic, toxin-free, clean beauty, skincare, and household products. Don't get me wrong, it definitely was not easy and I was super overwhelmed. I also couldn't find a lot of resources online. People like me that were still kind of young, ditching the toxins, but were still giving good recommendations for alternatives that were still the trendy products, but just way better for your hormones. So I just started researching myself. I would go one product at a time. When I ran out of an existing product I was using, then I would swap it to a non-toxic option, and I made sure to use up what I had already and then make the swap, so I didn't have to buy everything all at once. And it made it less overwhelming. So like when I ran out of my bronzer, I would research just bronzer instead of researching like my entire makeup bag. I would say after that first year, I pretty much swapped like all of my everyday, use all the time products. So then I started sharing online, and that's kind of how we got to this point, because not a lot of people were sharing about this, and it was really positively impacting my life. Not only were my daily headaches gone, but probably about after like 8 to 9 months, my periods became regular like clockwork. And up until then, I was still kind of skeptical about certain ingredients messing with my hormones, or what they call endocrine disruptors. But once my period became regular and my cycles were like clockwork and way more manageable, that's when I really knew that, unfortunately, specifically in America, there are so many ingredients in our products that are genuinely messing with our hormones. A lot of the ingredients in our beauty products, cleaning products, are adding estrogen to your body. It doesn't sound like a huge deal, but that's what's unbalancing your hormones. We don't need to be synthetically adding estrogen to our body via our blush or our laundry detergent. So since the new year is coming up just a few days away, I encourage you to make it a New Year's resolution to ditch some toxins in your products slowly. You can still do it affordably. That's kind of really my bread and butter, helping you slowly ditch the toxins in your products. I'm not saying you have to be 100% non-toxic. In fact, I'm always telling you guys to live an 80-20 life. 80% of the time, you're super conscious about the ingredients in your products, and 20% of the time, you do the things you love that make you happy that you can't find a swap for. So since the new year is here, I want to help you guys. I want to answer any questions you may have about ditching toxins in your products. I'll be honest with you guys. I'll give you realistic swaps. I'll tell you exactly how I did it step by step if you want. I've honestly never felt better physically or mentally than I do now. I'm off of birth control. I'm off of my anti-anxiety, antidepressant medication. My skin has cleared up and stayed clear. My period is like clockwork. I no longer have those daily headaches or brain fog, so I really do think that it makes a huge difference. It doesn't have to be boring or overwhelming. You don't have to read studies for hours. I'll do that for you. Let me know in the comments what questions you guys have about this, and I'll help you ditch toxins even more in 2025.